All right, everyone, welcome back to another fun day in the mortal realms. What's going on, Bill?
Not too much. How are you?
I'm good. Painting up the Gothazar Harvester
Very
that I have
nice.
left. Yeah, I struggled today figuring out what to paint. Like I have some
I,
terrain
I
I can do for the display board, but I didn't want to yet.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I uh I think I decided instead of getting the new Warcry box set, I'm gonna finish actually painting up the terrain from the last Warcry box set that I got,
That's a good
and
idea.
then it'll be like it was new terrain anyway, right?
Yeah,
It'll be
exactly.
new to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it for the combat gauge. That was the thing that pushed
Yeah.
me over the edge. Because I do
Yep.
really
Yep.
like that terrain set, and I skipped the last one, so
Yeah. There you go.
I didn't skip Thondia though, so we'll see if that was the right call.
Yeah. the what was I gonna say? Yeah, the warbands are cool and all, but like I actually like the. I think my favorite one so far is the third one.
Oh, the Legionnaires.
Yeah, the Legionnaires.
Oh, of
Like
course. Yeah.
I like quite a long shot. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna get the base rule book in them, I think. And go
Yeah,
from
that
there.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I hope they're good in AOS proper too.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
would love to
nice.
see like a bunch of those on the table,
They're really cool.
like an actual
So
Legion.
I
Yeah.
hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what else they do for the warbands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They get to do all kinds of like different stuff with them, which is really neat.
yeah, I get a feeling that we're getting a lot of not chaos ones coming too,
I was gonna
based on the
say I
roadmap.
was gonna say the same, yeah.
Which yeah, I'm pumped to see that for sure. The
Kinda
chaos
like
ones are
the
really cool.
underworld stuff, but
Yeah.
like I feel like the underworld stuff is like a little they're always a bit like just subpar in AOS proper, it feels
Oh
like.
yeah.
They're always like just kind of weird and it's
There's
just
a
like
couple
eh.
that are good. Like
Yeah.
one of them is the ogre one because it's like a free like barge through enemy lines for like 110 points.
Mm.
Um, the Daughters of Cain one was insane because it was just a hag queen for 10 less points and
Ha!
more models. So yeah, that was a
Oops.
mistake.
Yep. Well, they are at that, right?
Yeah, it took them a little longer than it should have probably, but they got it.
Yep.
And I think the Skaven one, not the newer one like with the Eshin guys. I think that one's actually just straight good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And like I think the Daughters of Cain one is interesting because I think it has like a roar attached to it basically.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to beat their bravery instead of rolling on a 3 up, but like
But
yeah,
it's
Aurora's
probably
powerful.
pretty a reasonably cheap unit, so yeah.
Oh, it's like 250 points.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Or 250?
yeah.
That's a little
It's a
okay,
little
that's kind of
much.
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. It is a little much, but yeah, I people ran Mir Kanan too for a while, which is the OC one.
Oh, was it for him? Like the did he have like a good ability or whatever?
So he was like 190 points for a wizard and like sixes to hit in melee were like 2d3 mortal wounds or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But the idea is that they were like a more like his the guys that came with him were like a more tech guard that could reach out and like touch an objective real early and not give up the kill an enemy battle line battle tactic.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
Because
he wasn't like in good interesting. He was just like did a couple things okay. So
yeah,
he was a solid choice. Which
it's
is
one of
that's
those
interesting.
weird like, oh, this thing, gets around some problems we have in a different way. So yeah, maybe.
And I guess the beast one is pretty good too, right? Grashnak? Or is
Yeah,
that his
Grashnack's
name?
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For like a very similar reason, actually.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, he's not that much more than a regular guy. He touches a lot of bases.
Yep, has a few models with him. I like to
Oh yeah.
sacrifice those models.
And then when like the Nurgle stuff used to be unmodified or 6 up, like he gave the +1 to hit spell, so then it was 5 up. So he was a great Nurgle ally for a little bit of
Oh,
time.
that's interesting.
Yeah, and then that got eroded and changed in the new book. Still, that's okay.
Anything that doesn't say unmodified 6 and says 6 up, it's gonna be changed.
It's a safe assumption, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one they've done that for has gotten changed.
Yep. Which I like it. It's fine.
Well, the problem is, there's always like a way to like abuse it,
Yeah.
and then I feel like they go, "No, it'll be okay this time. I swear, it'll be fine. I swear."
Yeah.
And then immediately someone's like, "Ooh, what about this combo?" And they're like, "It wasn't fine."
But you know what's funny though is like the thing is just like +1 to hit isn't even like hard to do, and that's the thing that like, oh no, that's a problem now.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
true.
you can't get it more than like you can't make it +2, right?
Right.
So that's core rules now. So like it's always a lot. So that's why it's always gonna be changed, right?
Yeah.
Hypothetically, yeah. Speaking of a lot too, that is gonna get changed. I played a game with OBR yesterday against
Oh yeah, yeah.
Stormcast. Yeah, and man, that whole army can reroll saves if you want it to.
Oh
Nice.
really?
Yeah, because like the Mortek Guard do it, and I've been trying out lists with a double reinforced Acropolis Stalkers.
Oh
So
okay.
like a big unit of 9.
Oh yeah, they have. Yeah, they have got one of their faces is reroll saves, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the whole problem with that before is like you bring your weapon down to like rend 1 damage. But if you're like in
Oh,
a
but
bounty hunter situation, yeah,
now you're looking at bounty hunters. There you go.
yeah, and they all fight instead of like the first 4.
Mhm.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they're fairly. I think bounty hunters is like the biggest thing against them too. But I just think they get so much for being Galatian veteran now.
Yeah, because they get
Because
to fight the 2 ranks.
yeah,
Right.
like the whole blob of 9 can fight. You can buff them to the moon.
Yep.
Yeah, and like if you're in Petrifex Elite, you can make them additional rend. Like I played without the purple sun, and I'm like, I don't think I need it, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, like the great swords had like rend 4 at one point.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah. That's how you get through protectors, everyone.
Yeah, no joke, huh?
Yeah. I worry though that they're gonna run into the same problems that like a lot of armies did, where it's like, oh, they meet the thing that can DPS check them,
Yeah.
and then like they're gonna die, and you're like, cool, but it's only like 600 points for the unit, so it's not like you're investing your entire army away.
I mean, 600 points is a lot, but
It's yeah,
not the end of the world.
mm-hmm. But it's not like it's not the cost where it's the only thing your army's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which makes it a much easier pill to swallow.
So remember when I texted you earlier that there might be a thunderstorm in the area,
Is it coming?
and then I was like, no, there isn't. Well, I just heard thunder, so maybe.
Nice.
Yeah. Now
Oh
you're aware.
no. All right. Well, we'll see how far we can get. If it's a short one, it's a short one.
Yeah. If the power goes out, it goes out, or maybe it was just instant rumbles of thunder. Who knows?
Yeah. I think we'll probably be fine.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. That's just Sigmar telling you. Have a nice show, gentlemen.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's nothing to
Yeah.
worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're both good boys, right? We both have the boys in gold.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually true now. Man,
Yeah, no, it is.
back in the day though.
Back in the day,
Yeah.
that would have been heresy for you.
Look, man, the dragons got me.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. It's like, all right. How do we come back to the good side? Will dragons do it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand them over.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, they will.
Yeah, I haven't played them yet in the new battle pack, and I probably won't for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that's fair.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
you got a ton of stuff you want to try.
I have a feeling they're still good. I think a lot of lists stopped bringing them all together though, because the double move thing is gone. Through
Oh,
that
okay.
like, what was it? The battle scroll? Yeah, that's right.
Oh, maybe if people are stopping running them, maybe I'll actually start running them.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't do the translocate, pop them in, and like move in the hero phase still.
Right.
Yeah, which was kind of silly, but
Yes. I don't know why they ever had that to begin with,
yeah,
but that's okay.
I'm glad that's gone for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, like they can't guarantee the turn 1 charge anymore. They're not playable apparently.
Not playable.
No. But yeah, I'm excited to see how they do with Bounty Hunter because I think that could be a lot of fun.
Oh,
Not
that
for
is
them,
interesting.
but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the pure dragon list is probably fine, but like the splash of the dragon is probably not going to be seen much play anymore.
Gotcha.
I don't know, but we'll see about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still like a pretty efficient body as far as like wounds to save or points go.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, they're definitely still playable. I just don't know if they're the hot thing right now. That's all.
You know what? I think that's okay.
Yeah,
They had their time in the sun. They can, you know, not be the kid on the block
yeah, exactly.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, move over. We got spells coming with Zinch and Lumineth on the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when we do our reviews, we should do a fun show where we have a tally of how many times we see like a bonus to cast or an extra spell.
Or or wait, why does that break every rule ever?
Why was it written this way, Counter?
Yeah.
That
Did they
that kind
really
is
think
funny.
that was necessary?
Yeah, this thing does an extra D3 damage against beasts.
Yeah.
That's a tame
Yeah,
one,
Beast of
actually.
Chaos specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, not monsters.
Yeah,
Beasts of
no, no, no.
Chaos.
Beast of Chaos.
That herdstone's too good, boys. We
Oh
gotta
god.
dial it back.
Nerf it!
Yeah.
And nerf it by giving two armies specifically the ability that if you're playing against Beast of Chaos,
Hmm.
you can instead say you won the game and go play a different game instead.
Yeah. You can do a rock paper scissors and then go get beers. That was a joke from the last show.
Oh, it was. We brought it back.
Yeah. Elect man, how you doing, man? They're a touch expensive. Yeah, I can see that argument because like 320, 18 wounds, 3 up save. They don't do like the thing that you brought them in your list to do anymore, so it makes a lot of sense to cut them there.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not the alpha force distraction, but I think people can still run them as like a counter charge unit or like hold the points unit, or not hold the points, but like reach out and get a far away point. Which, speaking of which, the Soul Scream Bridge is my new best friend, Bill.
Yeah, I was hearing that.
Yeah, so like I think it was 18 before, now it's 24 inches, which means Arc on the Black can make it 30 inches.
That's a lot of movement.
Yeah, so what I was doing in that game was there's like one objective that was like nowhere near me, and I had a unit of 10 more tech guard that were there to like stop the deep strike behind me, and he put him down on the field in front. I'm like, cool, he's out. So I teleport them to like the far objective. He gets the priority. I dispel it on his turn, and then I recast it next to another point, and then they just hop in right back in, and go back to another point. So I'm just
Oh.
like touching all of them as I go.
Remember when that thing was like was it something stupid like they both had to be like wholly within 12 or 18 or something?
They had to be wholly within 12 or 18 if you were on Shaiish.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So it
Yeah,
was like, wait, I can barely fit these two things wholly within 12.
yeah. Like the range was very short, but now it's
Now it's
huge.
like,
Yeah,
kaboom. Where
yeah.
do I want to be? Literally anywhere.
24 is a lot. Like you gotta still be outside
Yeah,
the 9 inches still, but like, that's fine.
yeah. That's still a lot of movement.
Yeah, I'm just tap dancing around you.
Yep.
Like maybe that was just like I was a slow army, he was a slow army, and so like I just had a really nice advantage to have that movement tech to get around him, and
Hmm.
maybe like a fast army it wouldn't pay off as well. But yeah, I'm thinking OBR wants that over Purple Sun right now, just because I think I have enough rend.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. It's
Yeah.
like I get to run -5 against you, and that is 3 overkill.
Does that go completely through the protectors?
I think it does.
Yeah, so they're a 2 up.
Are
Yeah.
they 2 up with like multiple extra though?
So they're base 3 up.
Yeah.
And then they get +1 if more than half the units are spears. And let's say, for the sake of experiment, you all out defense them, you Mystic Shield them, and you Castellan to them. So that's +4. Okay, so they'd be at a 3-up save.
Yeah, there's so many 3-up if you give them -5.
If you give them
That's a little
everything.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need the Purple Sun.
Before. They'd be at a 4.
Oh, yeah, with the Purple Sun. Yeah.
Oh, with the Purple Sun, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that better than a 2-up, though. I'll tell
I
you
mean,
that.
yeah, it's certainly something.
Mm-hmm.
It's twice the amount of damage, actually.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
that's a
only
great
ones
point.
fail, or
Yeah, you're
ones
right.
A2s fail. Yeah.
Oh, man. That really puts in perspective how good alt defense and Mystic Shield are.
Well, it's they get better and better as your save gets better and better.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, the big monster meta took over for a second.
Right.
Get your Archeons. Nagash before they massacred him.
Did we ever figure out if he works the way you wanted him to work
No,
with those
there's never
with
been
those
an
things?
FAQ.
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
what's the ruling then? Or does he just not get run so no one really cares?
I don't know what like an official ruling would be, because like I read a couple things from like different people online,
Yeah.
and I guess like the most common take is that you just get one more on a rally, for example. You wouldn't reroll the rally.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is not the way we thought it would be, but
Yeah,
oh
because
well.
the option is you can, on a resurrection rule, you can either re-roll the die or get one more, right?
Reroll the dice that determine the amount of models that come back.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess the argument is that our read was like a facetious read of like, well, you're re-rolling 0 or 1. And it's like, no, that's re-rolling if models come back, not how many come back.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think that's how it's ruled.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be way more interesting the other way at 950, but I get it.
Yeah.
That could be one of those rules that gets way out of hand though too. So
Yeah, like you could definitely build around that in like some weird way, and just like, look, everyone's back. Look, everyone's back again. Look, everyone's
yeah,
back again. Yeah, I can see it.
I guess there's an argument too that the Gothazar Harvester would bring back 2 guys on a 4-up instead of 1 with Nagash on the table, because
Oh,
each one is a separate roll.
yep.
Yeah, because it's a separate
So
trigger that puts it there.
so is that actually legit then?
Yeah,
Is that actually how that'd be ruled?
yeah, I think
So you
that's
could just get everyone back, essentially.
yeah.
On average, you get everyone back.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess unless they get all 20 damage or all, if they go to dead in one attack,
They're dead.
yeah, because then there'd be no unit to return them to.
So I guess the problem is you have to run a Gothazar Harvester, which is how many points? Like
220 or
something,
215.
215,
Yeah,
and the
Nagash.
960 point Nagash.
Yeah,
And so what the heck else do you have?
I guess just more tech
Yeah,
as far as the eyes can see.
yep. Which isn't very far considering how
Yeah,
many points you've already spent.
yeah, yeah, it's true. And then if they have like any sort of decent shooting, they just shoot the harvester.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the mood to play Nagash again.
Good.
Yeah, I think
Run
I'm gonna
that
try.
list.
I could run that list. I had a Night Haunt list I was working on too, where it was him, 4 units of 5 hex rates, unit of 20 chain rasp, and then the spirit torment. And the idea is when Nagash returns like 1 model to the horse, he'll return 2 with his ability each
Oh,
turn.
that's cool.
Yeah, and then each of the horses does D3 mortal wounds on the charge, and Nagash kind of does D3 mortal wounds on the charge for each arcane bolt he cast.
That's true.
Yeah, so the idea is just like dogpile on something and put as
Yep.
many mortal wounds as I can into it.
There you go.
And then like try to gum it up so like they have to split attacks between the horse units. And I don't know if I should like do a 10 or like a 10 unit and then 2 5s, or all 4 of them at 5 each. That's something I would play around with, I think, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's merit there. And then also like
That'd be
all
fun.
I like the idea too of the minimum size, so you could get all the Wave of Terror bonuses. Because Nagash can still use it because it modifies the enemy, not the army. So like the -1 Rens and stuff will still be there.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant like he could charge and still apply it, but
No, no, no.
no, he can't do that. But he can use it. Yeah, yeah, I see what
Yeah,
you're
if
saying.
they have rent,
That's
like if he gives
interesting.
rent, yeah. So
Yeah,
I think there's something there. I don't think it's like the most competitive thing you can do, but I think it can do well. I think it could be a lot of fun.
I mean, it sounds like fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
try it out. Why
I
not?
always like the horses, the hex wraiths.
And that's the other thing. Like, until you like, if you only play like what you think is best, like you don't know like what else you could be doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
It's always good to try all kinds of stuff just for
which
the
is why
sake
I'm
of doing
looking
it.
forward to that.
Yeah,
That might be this weekend. We'll see.
nice.
But yeah, all right. You know what? I think yeah, it's 7:30. You want to get started
Yeah, let's
on
do
our
it.
brainstorming? Okay. So, all right. So, what was the premise again? So, like, the idea is you pick four of these as like an enhancement, right?
More of these as an enhancement.
Remember, we're doing
Uh,
that was your
oh,
idea for the
I
battle
guess kind
tactics.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it being like an enhancement, but yeah, I suppose it is.
I get. Yeah, I like keeping it with game terms too that we already have. So, are you fine with that terminology?
I mean, yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. For these battle tactics as an enhancement. Oh, because you do it in list building, right? Was your idea?
Um, we can go with that.
Yeah.
That wasn't a terribly important bit of the
Okay.
idea, I don't
Yeah.
think. So whatever you think is best.
Yeah. Your choices and your opponent's choices go into a collective pool of battle tactics that can be scored this match. So once one is scored, it cannot be scored again.
Right.
Yeah. So like somebody could take yours.
Exactly.
You brought. You cannot pick the same one twice probably, but two could exist in the pool if you and your opponent picked one.
Yeah, I was debating whether or not the second one, like the duplicate, would get removed or not, and then you'd have to fight over the same one, which could have its own merits and be interesting. But I think you could try it either way.
All right.
We'll just say
Unsure.
duplicate for now.
All right. Unsure if duplicates can exist or if choosing a duplicate makes the pool smaller. Needs testing.
Yep.
May Wooks. Typo. All right, cool. So like,
Then you could like do this weird metagame also. Well, I guess you could do it either way, but
mm-hmm.
you could do a weird metagame um of like assuming like, oh, these are usually picked, so I won't pick that one and pick this other one that's good for me instead, type of thing.
Yeah,
That
because
could be interesting.
yeah, if like duplicates get deleted, it makes you try to specialize your list into getting some offshoot ones,
Yeah,
and it
something
might
like
make
that.
picking obvious ones like not done ever.
Yeah, no, that could have be its own interesting bit, you know.
Yeah, and that actually colors a little bit too of like what like how many like low hanging fruit ones we would put in the pack overall, right?
Right? Yeah.
So like I like the idea of like we put like the hold hands and run together with three of them, and then like somebody takes it and your opponent just scores it on you going first. And
Yep.
hey,
Hey, that was mine.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like it might make those ones like unpickable, like, unless like there's no overlap. That's interesting actually. I like that.
Well, it also begs the question if you do have low-hanging fruit ones at all that you can score first turn.
Yeah, maybe
Because
you
you
don't
don't,
want any of them.
yeah, like maybe it's okay that you can't score a battle tactic first turn. Because the other bit of it is you don't have to pick it and then it's gone, right? You achieve one and then it's gone.
Oh yeah,
So
so
it's
you
a
don't have
little
to declare
different.
it. Okay,
Yeah, you just have to achieve one on your turn and then you can take it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Mango Smasher, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for the huge raid.
Hey. Oh, it's awesome.
Thanks, man. That's sick. So what Bill and I are doing is we talked a couple shows ago about making a custom battle pack for Age of Sigmar, and we're just like going over a brainstorm idea and like what we kind of want it to be.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think this will be a fun show for everyone involved. Hopefully, y'all play Age of Sigmar. The tactics do not have to be declared. I think that's important to put up front.
Yeah.
So basically, at end of turn, you pick one that you did achieve.
So you could achieve multiple and then like pick the one that you now think like your opponent is most likely to score or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like you could meet the conditions of three,
Right.
pick one, and then the other two that you didn't pick are still available.
Yep.
Yep. All right. The end of turn. Okay.
So now, as always, that's the easy part, coming up with the
Cores.
like the system, right?
Yeah.
Like this is how this game system's now gonna work. Now the tough part is coming up with the content,
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna be the hard part.
right? It always is.
Slay the Warlord. I'm just actual brainstorming.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one's mine. I like those ones.
Which one's this one's mine again?
The general kills a unit. Those ones might be less interesting because like when you pick it as the battle tactic, you have to commit. And now that in this mission you don't have to pick it, you could just be like, "Oh, well, my general happened to kill something. That's fine." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I feel like the if you're gonna pick it, you're gonna have like
A combat hero.
a combat general, right? So you're
Yeah.
more likely to get it than your opponent at that point. But if
Yeah.
they happen to kill something accidentally before you can, then it could get stolen from you. So I
Yeah.
think that was actually fine.
I think that one's good actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one's mine for this.
Yeah, because like if it becomes like too auto of a thing, you just as a community don't pick it. I
Hmm.
think is what ends up happening.
Oh, so what's King of
Interesting.
War?
King of War.
Social Alliance said.
Oh, I think that's a movement tray one, right? I think they just
I don't
did
know.
third edition,
Oh, that's
and it
cool.
was like I think the box set was like a War of the North, and it was like basically Chaos Warriors from the snow riding like a chimera.
Oh, that sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that's what Kings of War is. Yeah, that game looks cool, but holy shit, do I have too many miniature games?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Same here.
one's enough,
Yep.
allegedly.
Allegedly,
Yeah.
indeed.
There's some like really cool mini games out there though that I just haven't gotten the chance to like really get into.
Yeah.
Frostgrave's another one that like really strikes my fancy. Do you know that one at all?
Um, it sounds familiar.
We might have talked about it on the show once, but the idea is it's like a campaign based system where you build a hero and then he hires mercenaries, which are the different factions within the game.
Cool.
So it's like a campaign series, but you don't have to commit to an army. You just build a character who gets better over time.
Hmm.
And then you just get like a budget that you hire your mercenaries for each mission.
Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Does that happen to be from the same people of as Gloomhaven
No, but
by
they did a
chance?
game
No.
called Frost something.
Oh, okay, okay. That's I mean
It
that's
might be
probably what I'm
even
thinking of.
Frosthaven. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny though. Yeah, it's that same kind of like Dark World though.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's cool. I think there was like a null sub faction, and that's what really tickled me pink there. I love nulls, man.
Uh,
Hmm.
that's great.
Yeah.
Whatever
Um.
strikes your fancy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Barge through enemy outlines.
what are some other ones that we'd like to have?
I'm putting
Uh,
down barge through enemy lines, which is like the 2 in enemy zone.
Doing enemy zone is definitely easier for some armies than others.
I'm
So yeah,
wondering
that
though
might
if
be a
like
good
you
one.
put payoff ones in there though, because that's obviously the payoff for like teleport armies, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't another thing we were saying we kind of wanted was like a bit more of like you're not just playing the game, like you have to kind of go out of your way to do something, which I
Yeah.
think that one fits the bill a little bit.
Yeah, I get what
Well,
you mean though.
kind
It's
of.
not perfect. It's a
Yeah.
step towards that, right?
Yeah.
Um were we talking about like the custom ones that I had, for example, like the issue an order only once and only in the combat phase kind of stuff, or
Oh, like you had to like spend a command point to get something or whatever.
yeah, just like
Hmm.
the weird
I
like in
wonder
our
if that
battle
actually.
tactics shows, we had like the weird incentive
Yeah.
or like
I
an
wonder if that even
opportunity
worked here
cost.
though. Or as
Yeah,
much.
maybe not.
Maybe not, because you're both players can't do it, so maybe the opportunity cost doesn't matter as much. Maybe you're like trying to get a unique board situation, like craft like something to happen,
Yeah.
which I think these kind of fit the bill. Is what they kind of already have.
Mm-hmm. So maybe skip that one. What's another
Oh,
opportunity?
I wasn't even really saying skip that, skip Barge or enemy lines. I think that one might be fine.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's get some down and then we can
Well,
refine.
all right. So I'll put that one down because I like that as an opportunity cost, and
Yeah,
then we can delete it later. So
and it's like possible that it's like you can find a really good opportunity that you want to do that anyway, and then it's interesting.
so instead of spend exactly 1 CP, issue exactly one command, and it must be in the combat phase. Because that one it forces you to store them, and the reason why it makes you do one in the combat phase is because on turn one, when no combats happen, and it just said don't use command abilities, that would be an auto get turn one.
Right. Which that's not what you want.
Yep. So we're gonna have that one like force check in there. All right.
So does that benefit like can you build your list around that? Is like there any reason you're going to take that?
The lists that benefit this, in my opinion, are the ones that have like the distraction card effects that you want to like put in the enemy unit or enemy army turn one and then force them to deal with it.
Hmm.
So it definitely benefits those armies, but they're also throwing away like good honest points for that. But then I wonder if like that spawns like a meta where you have like a unit that's like 95 points that's just fast.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say, like Defel bats just like get this one just automatically.
Um
Because they can just charge in, be like no points, just be like, look, I gave them all out defense. Alright, we did it.
yeah, and not enough
But I
armies
suppose
have
you have
like
to kinda like build around that a little bit.
yeah,
So
you have to
like
put bats in your list,
yeah.
which is not a bad idea, but yeah.
But then you have to like suicide them essentially. So
Mhm.
it's
And
also
then you
not the
don't get
best
to use
idea.
them as a screen actually, which is
Right,
why you'd
exactly.
bring them. Yeah.
So I guess that is like a thing you could build around a little bit.
Yeah,
And like it's not I don't know. Yeah, that seems fine.
and it's an option to have too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that here. Do we put like kill a specific kind of enemy unit? We don't really like those ones, but I'm just
I
thinking to
don't
incentivize
usually.
archery or like something for your
Um
archery list or your range list.
my 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 problem with those is usually like your opponent could just not bring that and then it's useless.
Right. Well, I'm not saying to like kill an archer unit. I'm talking about like something that you would pick because you had archers. And a really good example of that is like a kill point one. Right, because it's like if you have to kill a battle line, I'm like, all right, I'll just shoot it dead and not risk anything for that. Or like a melee army would have to like dedicate units to it.
That's true.
So that's all I was thinking is we want to reward archery list at all here. I kind of like eye for an eye though in the new
Hmm.
handbook too, and that could be enough of that incentive too.
Which one's that one again?
Kill an enemy unit. You can only pick it if you lost an enemy unit in the previous turn.
Hmm. So the thing is, we need to like. There can't be. The problem with like doing it like this is you really can't have like throwaway ones that might happen occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that this is one necessarily, but
Yeah.
like if we don't make them like a real reason to want to achieve it, then it's just never going to get taken, right? Because you're picking them like an enhancement.
Right.
So I'm wondering, like,
It depends on how
what's the
big the list is,
situation?
right?
Yeah. So what's the situation where I want to run that one? Is it like is it like a corn list, like an MSU corn list or whatever that just wants to get blood type points?
I would run it
Maybe.
there. I would run it in OBR where my units are like slow, like counterpunch units. If I had
Hmm.
evocators, I would run them in that list. Just like something that wants to hunker down and defend, and they delete your screen, and then you have your unit to like actually go punish.
That's true.
Yeah.
And like some armies are better at getting that than others.
Yeah. Or like an army that has multiple hammers too, where they're like forced to go after one. Or just like punishing somebody overextending. They just like charge with a lone unit that they shouldn't have charged with.
Hmm.
And you're like, okay, not only did you kill you, all right, you killed my thing, you did it. But now I get to kill that and I get points for it.
Well, the interesting thing though is if they don't kill it,
They then you don't
and
get it.
then you countercharge and kill it, then they can take it from you the next turn.
Exactly. Yeah. There's like a little bit of play there.
Yeah, there is a little bit of play there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, I was gonna say I suppose that play exists anyway, but I mean, it kind of does. Well, it doesn't really as much because we're doing like you can steal it type of thing, which
Right.
I think makes it very different.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ones I
All
don't
right. So we
like are
have
like monstrous dominance, of course. It's like contest
right.
this with a monster. Actually, any of like the contest this with the any special kind of unit, I'm not a huge fan of.
You could do it with like contest with like a hero or something maybe because
Yeah,
everyone's likely to have that, or contest with like a battle line. Same deal.
yeah, and then if yeah, that's a little better because everybody does have them.
Yeah.
Contest with a hero, I just don't like the play pattern of like because then that becomes like the turn one that you pick, right? She's like, oh, I
Yeah,
hold this
that's
with a
true.
hero.
You can make it more interesting where you have to be like, is contesting the objective and your opponent is as well, or something like that.
Yes, yeah, that too. Or did you take it from the opponent?
Yeah, like actually make it
Yeah,
like a capture from your opponent.
but then that incentivizes like you're already trying to do that.
It's true, yeah. It's
Yeah,
just kind of incentivizing what you're already doing.
yeah, it's just tying the secondary win condition into the primary one. And I made a big to do about that on our show about
Yeah, yeah. We don't want that. Yeah.
yeah.
What about like use a hero to uh we'll have to refine this, but what about like something like use a hero to kill a unit that's on an objective or something like that? That's holding an objective and have them not be holding it after the combat's over or something like that.
Kill a unit until they die on an objective. So it like forces your general to go there. And there's a little bit of an opportunity cost too.
Yeah, I was thinking not make it not specifically general so that like
Oh,
um
okay. So like any hero
it would be
could do it.
something else. Yeah. And maybe this is one where you don't like limit it to like the melee. So like you could have like like wizards do it potentially or stuff like that.
All right. So does the wizard or does
So
the hero have to hold?
That's a good question. What do you
Because
think?
I could see if like you have a wizard or a range thing, you just blow the thing off the objective and then you run a little fast guy there. But maybe that's a good way to incentivize shooting too, or pay off shooting rather.
Yeah, pay off the shooting.
Because that's actually kind of a rare situation where there's a hero that shoots.
That's true. What if we don't make it? What if we don't make it that? What if we make it? Well, yeah. Okay, so I was gonna say, what if we make it so it has to be like a ranged or spell that kills a unit that's holding an objective or something like that. But then that's just getting to the like,
It's
well,
too
two
yeah
problems with that.
yeah.
It's just if you're that's what you're doing, you want to do it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like playing the game. And then it also has the problem of like not being able to be taken by some armies at all.
Right. Yeah, that is a problem.
Yeah.
So what if it was like
Hmm.
a terrain piece instead of an objective? So then it's like a secondary piece of ground to fight for. That's not the primary one.
Yeah, so it's not like an objective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah, I like that better too because for the reasons of yeah,
Yeah.
on and terrain piece. Nah. You see here by blade or bow or spell or anything.
I suppose at that point it's just anything, yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, we
Would
don't
we
want
want to
the
word it in
impact
such a way
charges.
that like an endless spell that they cast that turn kills it? That they counts?
I'm gonna put a maybe there.
Yeah, we'll go with a maybe.
Maybe an endless spell they are bound to because there's already mechanics for keeping track of that
Oh,
without
that's
being
true.
bound to a
Yeah.
hero.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be easy enough to work in though.
I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I really like that. I'm putting like hard ratings on this.
So now that one's kind of weird though. Again, I guess is like because I guess your opponent. Well, so it pays off like when your opponent has like faction terrain that they want to sit in,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go kill them or whatever. But like otherwise, people could just like stay away from the terrain.
Yeah, but maybe if you're making people stay away from the terrain, you're happy because they're not getting cover against you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and your bow army.
But yeah, and also like they could steal it from you too, so you'd also have to play just as carefully against
Just as
that.
cagey, yeah.
Yeah, but then it kind of like pays off the ranged list a little bit because
Very
it's easier to
slightly,
do
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Maybe a little more than very slightly.
but that's okay.
Yeah.
We can have one of those that does that. And
Yeah.
it's like a way to build your list to score that one
And
a
then
little bit.
I'm noticing what we're saying paying off range a lot here. So
Well, I
maybe
think
that the
I think we were still working on that one, weren't we?
I think so. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I
actually,
think because I don't think we did that for any others. I think we're still working on that one. Or
right.
that was my opinion. Was there another one here that you thought rewarded um,
Eye for an
ranged?
eye a little bit.
I know you told me what eye for eye was, but I can't remember.
Kill an enemy unit if you lost a unit in the previous turn.
Oh yeah, a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So I was actually rereading this on the issue exactly one command. It doesn't
Mhm.
reward fell bats because they're not elite, so they don't issue commands to themselves. So you have to run a
Yeah,
hero
but
for them too.
you could be like with an 18 of a general or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I guess
guess.
not Spellbet specifically, but I feel like there are units where
Mm-hmm.
uh, you could take advantage of it.
Charge in. Take
But that
advantage.
is a good point. It's not as easy
Yeah.
as it seemed.
Basically, costing a screen to achieve. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you basically sacrifice your screen to get this.
Yeah.
That can be an opportunity cost against a lot. of armies, while some don't care. Yeah, because I don't think Zinch really cares about your screens. They just shoot over them
Right.
or AoE them all on.
In which
Slay.
case, it's even better in that case for you because you can suicide it in and like
Right.
it's never gonna matter that
Yeah,
you don't have
because
that screen anymore.
that one's matchup dependent if it's good then. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it could be
I
interesting.
like that guy. I like that idea a lot.
And
Slaying
that's
Dragon.
like something that like maybe Zinch doesn't want because it's too easy to do against them or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so they would avoid that like the plague, even though
Possibly.
they're good at doing it.
Well, maybe not then if they're too good at doing it. I don't know. But
Yeah, but then you
that's
could do
all
it
in
against.
playtesting, right?
But then you're like incentivized to steal it from them in a matchup where it's already good for you to steal it from them, which is there's a lot going on there to unpack,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
There's a lot
great.
of back and forth here. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that. So yeah, barge through enemy lines. That's the have two in the enemy zone. Really easy for teleport armies, hard for slow armies.
Yep.
I think turn 5, you're usually capable of getting it if you're ahead.
That's another thing. We need to make sure that we don't only make ones that are like
Good if you're ahead.
good for like good if you're ahead and also good for fast armies.
Yeah. So how could we like reward a slow army with a battle tactic?
Well,
Uh,
slow armies are generally like
Tanky.
tougher, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So can we do something about that? Like, um,
that's a good idea. So dedicate a unit to survive seems a little weird.
well, yeah, especially considering you can't really like do a pick a type of thing in this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Could we do something weird like survive so many hits or something?
I was thinking make however many save rolls.
That could be
So like
interesting.
how for each yeah you do a tally. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it like incentivizes you to run into a combat and then outlast it. So there's an
Yeah.
opportunity cost there because you're definitely giving them some units.
But you have to make it like a big enough number that that it's not just like, ooh, I ran into your screen and since you have to attack that, I get a whole, it's like, ooh, look, I made my 10 saves or whatever. Nice and
Yeah,
easy.
I'm gonna name this one, even though we didn't name a lot of the other ones, to stand above all else.
There you go.
That sounded nice and righteous.
Yes, I
All
agree.
right, pick a unit. You win if you successfully save X times.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be pick a unit, right?
Oh, okay.
It's just if it happens to happen, you could
Oh
pick
yeah,
that
because
one,
you
right?
can't pick it at the start. Yeah, I'm just getting.
Right, right.
Yeah. So does it have to be with a unit though, or can it be like
I
across your army?
That's a good question. I don't know. What do you think? I think if you make it across the whole army, this battle pack won't work for different point values other than 2000, right?
That's a
I
good
would
point.
think,
Yeah.
especially if you pick like a number.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd almost have to like make it based on like how many units you have at that point or something like that, and
Uh,
then
with a
you're
single
doing
unit.
math, and math is great.
Yeah. Oh, but I kind of like across the army too, because it kind of pays off like alpha armies that want to like lock your opponent in. So if you're like Nurgle flies, you like really like that.
Now, here's another question: if it saves, do
Wards count?
ward saves count?
Probably not.
I was thinking yes to like give like Nurgle a bone almost.
Nurgle and death
Yeah,
in a lot. Yeah, actually, if like
that could
wards are
actually be
becoming
interesting.
everywhere too.
Right. So it's not like that's like a terribly weird thing. So it
Yeah,
like could happen for other people.
yeah, I like that.
All right. So now the number. Do we just like pick a number and just see how it plays? Is that like how you do this?
So here's what I'm thinking, because like my immediate thought was like 20, and then I realized that that's kind of nutty.
Yeah, 20 feels nutty, right?
20 is too many. 5 is way too low. I don't know, 10?
15 maybe?
10, 15? I think 15 if you're counting ward saves. 10 if you're not.
Mm.
And I think we decided we are counting wards.
This is a wicked like you got to play it and find
You
out,
got to
isn't it?
play it and find out. But I like the
Yeah.
idea here.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah. This
Like
rewards
go stick those Blight Kings in and let them attack first. And
not ward wards. Rewards.
again against those like 3 attack, wood elves or whatever.
I think OBR will love this with all their reroll saves too.
Oh, absolutely, right?
Yep. And then they have
Yeah.
wards. Yeah.
Yeah, and it like doesn't benefit like fast armies. Fast armies usually do not want to be getting attacked.
Yeah.
So like they're unlikely to want to use this one.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I think that's a great way of looking at it too. Is like, how can we reward crappy things or negative traits in an army, right?
Right, yeah. Or well, no, it's rewarding a positive trait of an army, just not like the same ones that most armies normally reward. Or
Yeah.
most things normally reward like speed.
Yep, that's true. Or they're just existing in this game reward speed.
Yeah.
Okay. Tanky armies with wards. These armies tend to be slow. We want tools to counteract the ones that benefit from being fast.
Yeah.
I like that idea a lot.
Now here's a question. Does the unit have to still be alive at the end of the turn? I'm gonna say yes.
I'm gonna say
I
yes
think.
too. That my
Yeah.
gut check is absolutely.
Yeah. So then that gives the like, oh shit, they're probably gonna get this if I. Well, no, I guess it's on your turn only. So if they're like, oh, there's this really big combat here, like everyone's already stuck in, and they're gonna attack me a bunch more. But they're gonna attack so many times that I'm sure I'll get it before I die.
Oh, you know what?
It's
Actually,
like,
I think the way the rules are written for this, they would have to be alive, right? Because like at the end of the turn, if you completed it with a unit, and if the
oh,
unit's
so you're
dead,
saying
right?
like, save.
So like if hypothetically the unit's dead, you wouldn't be able to pick it as something that completed the tactic, or is it like you've met the condition and therefore you've completed the
Yeah, see,
tactic?
that's what I was thinking the
Okay.
ambiguity was there. Yeah, so why don't we just say it?
Yeah. So let's say it
Let's say after morale step 2, so they
after
can't run.
Oh, so if they run,
Yeah, if they run, then
yeah.
nope.
God, I made a unit of protectors run the other day.
That's
That
gross,
felt
man.
so good. Yeah. Killed 5 of them, and then I had the endless spell that stopped the
Inspiring
morale.
presence.
Yeah, the boat.
Oh my god,
Bone Tide Shrieker.
that is gross.
Yeah, it was great. Not for him, but for me.
No, not for him. Not at all for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool though.
Yeah, it felt great. Oh, I was thinking about this too. Is maybe something that rewards healing.
Healing. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Like
Healing it definitely isn't as prevalent. There's some armies that just have absolutely nothing.
yeah, and there's some armies that are like nuts good at it.
Yeah. And so does that become too much of a freebie for them, for those armies?
So it depends on how we do this, right? Is do we count it as just health healed or models returned? Because if it's models returned, then we have rally, which everyone has. Or maybe
That's
like
true.
make it both, like how like death would be worded. So if you heal X wounds or return X model, or so like you have to make 10 or something, right? It's like if you
Yeah.
heal 10 wounds, so you could do 5 and 5, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So then if rally's part of the game, then like everybody has it. And
Well, everyone has it technically only, I feel
right.
like, with rally, especially on a 6-up. Like better rallies are good. and like could definitely do
Yeah.
something like that. But like I feel like base rally is just like, oh yeah, technically yeah, I can do it, but there's no way I'm ever actually gonna do it.
I mean, I've
But
seen
then
it
again,
happen, but yeah.
there might be it might be the situation where you can't score your own at the same time
And
if the
like rally
situation
was
doesn't
good to
present
do.
itself.
Yeah. But I could also see a
Hmm.
situation where like since there's going to be a point where rally is good and it's worth playing anyway, and you score like 3 of them and one of them was the model return one and you're fighting like OBR and Nighthaunt and they didn't pick it yet. Like that's cool, right? You could just pick it then. Even though you're gunning for another one.
Oh, oh no, absolutely, you could take it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying we have to put it in a spot where, like, okay, if there are, if you have what 12 models dead, you're likely with normal rally, you're like to get 2 back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you make it like 10, like it's
Oh,
rally might
10
as
is
well not
impossible.
exist for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And this would put value with sequitors too. That stop model returning.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's kind of cool. So like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write it down, and then this is something that you would check through the armies and see how many of
Yeah,
them could consistently do it versus not.
yeah.
Heal.
Oh, and then that's interesting. So here's a thought: like, what it would you include like summoning units back, summoning new units as well?
Oh wow, because that'd be like an auto get in that case, which is yeah, I guess.
Nah, that might be too much because there's some like such easy ones to just summon turn one. Nah,
Yeah, I
that's
think
probably
that.
bad.
Or
Yeah, like
even like,
fleshy chords can just be like, "Whoops, I have more ghouls. Give me
I
points."
mean, what if it's like specifically worded as like returning a replacement unit? So like the Stormcast command point can do it.
Hmm.
So you at least have to buy the command point, or the Soulblight Gravelord thing can do it.
Right.
Which happens after Battle Shock, so it can't do it. Never mind. Well, it depends on when you score.
Yeah, we can just say you scored at like the end
Yeah,
of turn or whatever.
exactly.
The actual wicked end of the turn, not like the kind end of the turn.
Yeah, like after the cleanup step.
Yeah.
It's funny. But yeah, you know, I don't know about that. I'm gonna say like my gut check is no. But
Yeah,
I think part
I
of
think
this
mine is
is
too.
yeah, my gut check is no, but part of this is like trying to find like the weird things in the game, right? And like find
Yeah.
weird
And now,
scoring synergies that way.
does this all have to be to the same unit, or is it,
I was thinking throughout the
or it can
army.
be spread out throughout the army?
Yeah, I was thinking
Does like
throughout the army.
Soulblight Gravelords just get this one just out of hand
OBR
too
does.
easily?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
If you run like the arc on the blacklist, that's yep, you did it. You picked
right.
4.
Yeah, look, you did it. Yep.
Yeah, I think Nighthawk can do it easily.
Hmm. I think there's a lot of armies that can't do anything though with this one.
Yeah.
Like, let's say like offhand, like Corn does nothing, right? Can Nurgle bring anybody back?
No.
I
But
don't think.
Nurgle has a lot of healing though. It's
Mm.
1 wound on everybody or D3 if they're near like a big guy.
Oh, so they might be able to get that one.
So they get it pretty easy actually. Everyone has heroic
Uh,
recovery too.
oh, that's a good point.
Yep.
So you can maybe,
So you'd have to
yeah.
get 4
Well,
on your
you know what?
rally.
Let's try it, right?
Yeah. Is 7 the right number? Or actually you just said like on your unit of 20 or unit of 12, right? Or unit of 20, 12 are dead, you get about 2 on average.
Yeah.
So what if it's 5?
What if it's 5 with the heroic recovery type of thing?
Yeah, worth of damage and or models lost on a single unit? Or
I
throughout
think
your
it would
rally?
have to be over multiple. This
Yeah.
one's going to be hard to balance, I think, because I think some armies are so good at this,
Oh
and
yeah.
other armies really aren't. Yeah. So, like, man, the core incentive, the whole idea is that instead of it being, um, with the uh instead of like you pick one every turn to get one and then your opponent gets one, right? It's more of a community pool of them, and you can steal them from your opponent. So you each pick some amount of them. I think we were saying four to start with,
Yeah.
and then you can steal them from your opponent if you can score them first. But you pick ones that are better for your army. So it's a of trade off of trying to score yours, but also figuring out what your opponent might be able to score next turn and potentially trying to steal that one. Um, so these are all the I can't think of the name of it right now.
Battle
What's
tactics.
Yeah, battle tactics. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, my brain's just not working. Yeah, so you each put four battle tactics in a pool, in a community pool, and then you can instead of picking one to score, you see what you achieved at the end of the turn, and you can pick one of those to score, and then it's removed from the community pool, and you can only score the ones that are left
Yeah.
throughout the whole game.
So if I got Slay
So
the Warlord, you couldn't, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
yep.
And
With the exception of like if you both picked it, then maybe there's two of them. But I think I'm actually leaning on the side of like you remove duplicates.
I'm thinking
So
so
it's like
too, honestly.
so sometimes some games will have less to get than the others, which could be really interesting too.
Right.
Especially considering if you're both picking it, then you're both thinking you can get it,
Yeah.
which could make that really interesting to like who can do it better, who can do it first, and then
Mm-hmm.
like it's like, well, I can do this one right now, but I'm gonna try a little harder to do that other one as well. Type deal.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's the idea. It's to give a little more energy
Counterplay.
into
Yeah.
yeah counterplay energy to getting them and whatever.
And as far as like grand strats, I have no idea yet. Maybe we should
Oh
have started
yeah,
there.
I hadn't really thought of them. This idea was mainly uh
Battle tactics.
for battle tactics. Yeah,
Yeah, I just like talking about like incentive structures around these because I think some of them are like way off in the game.
right. Yeah,
It's like the ones that are like charge with three of your units. I'm like, oh, cool, doing the thing that already wins you the game.
yeah. It's like I already want to do that. Yeah, yeah. Like some of these, like really, like
What if a situation without duplicates like that just skew people into just taking one drop lists? Yeah, I mean probably right because it would.
well, okay. So there was another idea there that if you went second in the battle round, you got an extra point.
Oh, we did
And
have that thought. We just
we hadn't really
forgot all
considered
about it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and it depends on how we make them too. Like if you don't, because we're trying to steer away from um stay away from ones that you could score first turn easily. So there's none of the gimme ones.
Right. So
So
we want the
it's
gimme ones
you
to die.
yeah. So you have to be interacting with your opponent. So you kind of have to like pick the right time to start interacting to get those points, but also not give your opponent like good opportunities to score the ones
Yeah.
you want. Yeah.
And I think you're right. Like I think there's tactically like a higher advantage of going first in that sense. Like for the stealing opportunity if you have like the actual chance to get one early or if
Yeah.
you build your list very specifically to do that. And yeah, I think you're right because but also that's like a core problem with this game, I think too. Is that
Is the
like
going.
going first is actually very strong and we're not going to have battle. Oh yeah, we're not going to have like bounty hunters in this pack, right? So
Right.
like maybe that's another like lever to pull too is like the custom battalions that we eventually get to
Hmm.
would actually be nutty.
Yeah, we
Like
could
maybe there's
actually.
one that lets you pick a fifth one.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and it's like a command entourage, like a magnificence bonus. That's like you get to pick another one, and like maybe it's your like little precious baby boy.
Like only you can score it or something.
Yeah,
But like there's an opportunity cost to having that.
yeah, exactly. Which is not being one drop or not getting your extra relic.
Mm. Yeah.
Like that would be a magnificence bonus.
That actually would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't hate that idea.
I'm gonna write that down because I
Yeah,
probably will
yeah, do
forget
it.
that. Let me finish. It's hard to paint and type at the same time.
And then you have to weigh. It's like, is that extra 2 points going to be worth it in many games to try to get this or not? And I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, 3 here. Or command entourage S or like pick one of these battle tactics to be your precious baby boy. Yeah, but like that would kind of protect you from the one drop if you didn't think you could do that. You're like, I'd take a
Right.
very easy one to get here.
Yep. Yeah, one that's just really good for your army.
Mm-hmm.
I just threw my paintbrush at myself.
Don't.
That was interesting.
That's how you get paint on your shirt. No.
Well,
Dirty.
and it had a wash on it too, which was made it even worse.
Oh boy.
Yep, we're okay. It
I
just
can't
hit my
take
arm
you
a little
anywhere.
bit.
God, it's dumb.
I'm a disaster.
And I think another thing we have to worry about too is getting enough of these that are interesting.
Yes, exactly. Right.
And I have a very big feeling that like some of them are just gonna like fall off the face of the earth as far as being picked.
Well, I think that's why we need to make sure like they all have, like I want them all to have like some counterplay to them, right?
Yeah.
But also, what am I trying to say? Also, like benefit some armies more than others
Mm-hmm.
to like allow you to like pick different ones with different armies more.
Right. Oh, you know what else, Bill? For the
What's that?
healing one, you could bring the life swarm.
You could bring the Life Storm. That's true. And that's available to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, if you're not picking it, you probably won't take the Life Swarm. But
Yeah.
like,
But if you want the life swarm for a list anyway.
yeah, it's like it could add a little bit more to it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that could be interesting. And I feel like there are like a bunch of heroes that have like random incidental healing too.
Yeah.
You don't really think about because it's usually not like super relevant, but like now it might be.
Yeah, exactly. That's super cool. Okay. So let's summarize our thoughts here.
Oh, oh, here's the other question about that one though. Is that just doing what you wanted to be doing anyway?
Um, yeah, actually. For a lot of armies it certainly is.
Yeah,
But
because like
like
you're gonna take damage. That's just a given,
yeah.
especially with some armies. And then you're like, look, I rolled dice and I got him back.
Yeah, you're right. Hmm.
I don't want to like just kill your idea or anything, but
No, but
but
like that's a valid
maybe there's a different
concern.
way. Yeah, maybe there's a different way we can have it work.
Yeah. So I just want to jot down the thoughts right now. So it's
Yeah.
I'm gonna even say very easy for some armies to do this. Um, much harder for others.
Like it seems interesting when you think about like, oh well, I have to use like heroic recovery and rally to get it, but then like some armies are just like, well, look, I did it because that's just what I do.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, life swarm, heroic. Yeah, that's the problem with it though. Because yeah, you're definitely right. Like, because I think I take this every time with like OBR or any death army, right? Is it just wounds then instead of models back? No, because Archon can still do that by
I
himself.
don't know. Let's put this
Let's
one
let
on
this
the
one
maybe
marinate.
list.
Yeah,
Yeah, and let's think of some other ones here too.
I think you're right.
And
It's
yeah,
not
that's kind of the idea, like man. Yeah.
you want to do. All right. Yeah, register enemy lines is pretty decent. Yep, exactly. And sometimes people like throw away units just to get it too. They're like, I'm just
Right.
gonna drop it in the zone here. which isn't always the play, but yeah. Cause like you want like something, you want some of these to have like appeal to different armies to be excited to build with them too. I would say.
Yeah. So
How
like
many
what are some other
opportunity cost ones you think?
yeah, definitely opportunity cost, but like what are some other like army play styles or unit attributes that are like kind of common throughout the game, but some are better than others that we could harp on?
Alpha strike potential. Like or like orcs can just charge their whole army in.
Mm-hmm.
But again, is that what you want to be doing?
Charging your
Probably.
whole army in.
Yeah.
It might be for some armies you just want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we make an opportunity cost out of that? Do we have like have 3 units and a charge move uh within an inch of the same unit or something?
I was thinking different, like make a unit in every table quarter. Oh, that gets way too easy late game though.
Hmm.
Because I'm just thinking,
Well, late game, if it's too easy late game, I feel like that's actually interesting if it starts off difficult and gets easier, because then it's
okay.
a matter of like, well, can I do it now before it gets too easy, and like
Oh, you're playing
give a little
chicken with it.
something to do it. I feel like that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I think you have a point there. You're just playing chicken with the object or the battle
Yeah,
chapter.
it's like, or it's like, well, I'll probably be able to do it easier next turn. Can they do it in the meantime? Maybe. I don't know. Do they have a different one they want to score?
Have a unit in combat in every table quarter.
Hmm. That's actually kind of weird though, because that's like that's opponent dependent too. Like you could literally just not go to a table quarter and it's unscorable.
Yeah, that's not how you get points, but some Russians don't have points in the table corners.
Well, like let's say that's something that you picked, right? And
Yeah.
I didn't pick that one. I have the easier ones for me to pick already, laid
Mm-hmm.
out. And then I can just deny you the one that you were going to get just by not going there.
Because what I'm trying to do is make the
What about
incentive.
3 out of the 4 quarters instead of all 4? Because that one's
In
likely to. Well, does that get too easy like too early though? I don't know.
it can't be done turn one probably, unless you're
No, that
punishing the alpha somehow, which is
they would
the
have to alpha strike like immediately, and then you somehow.
get around.
Yeah, but like even honestly, getting to your assuming that you start like halfway from the other table edge, like
Mm-hmm.
it's not that easy to get all the way across the board, and you know what I mean?
Some armies can definitely do it,
Yeah,
but
some
then
armies
it's
can.
scoreable later too.
Yeah. Hmm. Is all 4 quarters? I don't know.
And maybe combat's harder to actually get in because you probably don't have that many units late game either. This seems like a turn 2 and 3 one,
Yeah. What
which is
about
interesting.
what about just coming up with other ideas for charging? So what's usually better? All like overcharging one unit or charging a bunch of different units?
What's
I
easier
feel
to
like
do?
what's usually more advantageous out of those? I think it's usually probably charging like more charging into like a single unit and like dogpiling and killing them off
That's what I'm
so
thinking,
that
or like
they
locking them in a zone.
so they get like less attacks, right?
Yes.
So maybe the idea is like, charge 3 to 4 different units with 3 to 4 different units of your own or something like that, because then
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of putting yourself in a worse position in theory.
Yeah,
Because if you're
actually, that's a
charging
great
that many
idea.
things, right, you're giving them a bunch of attacks.
Yeah, with 3 different units.
I guess it doesn't necessarily have. Well, yeah, no, I think you want to put 3 different units. Because I was thinking, it's like, well, I mean, if you charge into like 3 different units with one guy, then it's like, well, you're definitely putting yourself in a bad position. But then I was just thinking of the Felbat example of, look, my Felbat's charged into 3, give your guys, I get it.
Okay, so 3 of your guys, 3 of their guys, combat. Any
Yeah.
configuration. Hmm.
Do you want to just combat or actually have to be charged that turn?
Okay, well, that makes it a little bit more interesting. Well, but then this becomes like on turn two, I charge with three things, which is exactly what I'm doing. Most games, anyway. Like that
Well,
Daughters of
yeah, that's
Cain one
true.
that we hated so much for this. That was exactly this. Man, putting your mouth where your money where your mouth is real hard, huh?
Yeah. Well, the difference is they have months in it's their job, and we're trying to do it in 2 hours.
Yeah, that's true. We're
So
not finishing. Not even
no,
remotely.
no. So Luckman had an interesting idea of making an enemy model flee due to battle shock, which is definitely
Yeah.
easier for some armies than others. But that's another like angle we could play at is like trying to do something with the morale phase.
Yeah, so how about this? It's a rough idea. Might make an enemy model flee to battle shock. So you take the horror ghast or whatever things to stop that.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if these are things that you like that seem fringe playable. It's kind of cool that there's a battle tactic to reward it, so I like that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It's kind of neat there because it's
Yeah.
not like, yeah. Yeah, and that's actually interesting too. Well, the one problem is like OBR, who are like, "Hey, we don't do this,"
Dude,
and
I
that would suck
will
to go against them.
gladly give you that if I can have actual core command abilities.
That's fair.
But you're right though, like that's the actual problem. This would be like
but
hmm.
but I kind of like the idea there a bit too, because yeah, like if you're in a big scrum and it's like, and then it's like on you to like being the one that's not your turn. It's like, do I risk rolling on this, or because then they could take the battle tactic if I roll bad, or do I like spend the extra command point that I don't really want to spend on this, or kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it gets interesting there. I don't know. I think we should write that one down and,
I'm
and play
definitely
around
writing it
with it.
down. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to
Oh, I can't
get
see what you're
notes.
doing, so like
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah,
So,
I'm behind.
force one enemy unit to flee to battle shock. Is it one unit, multiple units?
I think multiple units is like really hard to do.
Yeah.
And like you're like, oh my god, you failed a battle shock test? Wow, that's so cool. I actually did it.
Mm-hmm.
And that like feels like something anyway.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like like you kind of have to do like a little bit of like back and forth sometimes maybe because it's like, well, if I dogpile you too hard, I'm just going to kill you off and then you can't run. So there's
Well,
there's like interesting things to consider there, even if not always.
so my problem. So one thing to talk about here. I don't even know if it's an issue. Some
Mhm.
armies are resilient to it. We discussed, while some just give this up, like Skaven. Like if you hit them
Oh
with
yeah,
like a
yeah.
Technado, you're like, oh, 7 units are making a battle shock. One of them will fail.
That's true.
So maybe it incentivizes like tornado lists too, which is kind of cool. But what I
Yeah,
like
because
about this, oh, go ahead.
no, nothing more than that really.
Okay, because I'm just thinking like this isn't a reward for an army necessarily. It punishes certain armies, so you pick it
Mm.
as a countermeasure. If it becomes like like if Skaven are like one in every third army, you pick this one and you give yourself some points and you're just happy about it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Punishes certain armies.
So it's more
This
like a
isn't a build
counter pick
around.
one.
It's a silver bullet.
Yeah, which isn't necessarily bad. Like you can like take it and then be like, well, if I do happen to play against an army like let's say you're like, I mean OBR is an extreme example, but let's say you're like demons with 10 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm probably not going to lose this. And if I get a good opportunity to take it, it's great. And then otherwise, but there's the opportunity cost there is, you know, if you don't go up against someone that has, that's playing one of those armies, then
Mm-hmm.
you're likely to have to steal one of your opponents more than normal.
Yeah. All right. Gits and orcs have low destruction too. I'm just gonna or low bravery. I'm just gonna say destruction. Ogres if they're not in combat. Low bravery. Yeah. Sorry, I was just catching up on the chat, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the next question I have about this too is there's armies that already ran the horror guest. For example, that corn list I was telling you about, you bring the wizard to fear your own guys, move it forward, run into it, hit him again, get all the blood tithe
Mm-hmm.
that you could ever want, and like Nurgle can run it very effectively because of disease points, and it gives diseases. So is this
Mm-hmm.
like something that, like, I'm already running this? This army really likes the horror ghast already. This is something I'm gonna pick to hedge my bets with the horror ghast.
Mm.
And if
So
so,
you're
isn't that
saying
kind of cool?
like it's like you're kind of. Oh yeah, it'd be like if the normal horror gas strat doesn't work for whatever reason, because it's not actually trying to get people to run from battle shock. It's like you got another like battle tactic that makes it a little better too, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or it's
Yeah. No,
just
I
like
think.
it's a payoff for certain list archetypes.
Yeah, and then like, but at the same time, like a corn list like could very easily just run a like have their like blood reavers just run away, right?
Yeah. So there's like pros and cons. Okay. How do you avoid the blood secretor in that list? Oh wow. Okay. So I guess you. What's the range of the blood secretor then?
16,
Oh, just keep him out of
generally
16
speaking.
then, right?
Oh yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, because like I guess he'd force you to reroll casts anyway. I didn't know that.
Interesting. No, I always no, I forgot about that one a little bit. That's
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay,
I'm
so
surprised it doesn't say opponent's cast, but that's probably like a flavor thing where they intentionally did it that way because you're not supposed to have them anyway. So why would you?
yeah, exactly. And like they
Yeah,
didn't know Arcane Tome was gonna exist when they wrote that book.
right, exactly. I
That's
mean, even if
funny.
they did, they'd probably still would have left it if
Yeah,
I would guess, just for flavor
exactly.
reasons.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's how do that. Okay. Yeah, helps your horror gas. Yeah, I like that idea. Just like
Yeah.
it's a silver bullet and like a very soft incentive on something running a weird unit that happens to have synergy with it. And you're saying earlier too that you pick it even if you're not entirely sure if you can get it, but you know that your opponent can't
Yeah, or like
easily.
you have high bravery, so like it's
Right.
more of a shot that you're gonna get it than your opponent will.
Mm-hmm. And so maybe OBR takes that one every time,
Oh, probably, yeah.
but I don't even hate
But they won't
that
necessarily
necessarily.
get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you still have to do something to get it,
Yeah.
right? Like that's kind of one that's kind of in like a bit of a weird. It's hard to do anyway. So like you might not even be able to get it in a game. It's not like a situation that's guaranteed to happen,
You
right?
know what though? If they can auto get that one pretty easily, because I think there's a yeah, one of their endless spells shuts off Inspiring Presence.
Okay.
So like if it's really easy for them, they can't get the barge through enemy lines consistently whatsoever.
Right. So
So
it's just
maybe
a
it's
good
even
one for them,
good.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
think it's
like,
fine.
yeah, so I think we should keep it the way it is.
Yeah.
All right. I think we were talking a little bit about the three different units within three different combats still, right? Because we weren't
Oh
sure
yeah,
that was
yeah,
like a
yeah.
good
Yeah.
incentive structure at the end of the day. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
how do you?
because just charging three things, yeah.
Yeah. Well, at least they have to be different units. At least not just charge three things. Be happy about it. So maybe
Right,
it's even fine.
because I think like yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know what the answer is. Hmm. Maybe this one's a bust.
Yeah. I'm not feeling this one, but like I'm trying to think of how
Yeah.
else we could incentivizing alpha and if it's like a thing we should do. Or maybe like we're
I don't
getting a
know.
little too focused on like even trying to reward specific things. So
Yeah. Well, yes and no. I think rewarding specific things is like kind of a good thing with this because it'll mean like there's a more diverse like more
picks.
diverse like picking of them, which would
Mm-hmm.
be interesting. And like lists will be a little more interesting based on that.
Right. Do you remember the one from the show like a few weeks ago about the have your army entirely outside of your zone and then have half of them back in your zone? So like you're retreating. Is that a good one?
Hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I
All
mean,
right.
it's definitely interesting.
Let me word it out a little bit more. So
Yeah, let's word it out.
at beginning of turn, yeah, beginning of turn, whole army outside territory. So this one's going to be mission dependent too. End of turn, half of units.
Important question. Round it up or down?
I think everything is always rounded up in this game.
Okay.
So if you have one unit, it would have to go back. Yeah. Okay. So rounded
Yeah,
up
that
for
makes
sure
sense.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Because if you have one unit left, it's an auto get if it's rounded down.
Yeah. I was just joking about the it being important, but actually
It
it
turned
was
out to
kind of
be.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're retreating. But
Yeah.
you know what though? Like I could see something that's like, yeah, maybe this is the punish to barge through enemy lines. Like they teleport back in, and then you just turn around and go deal with them, and then get points.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Barge through.
Oh, that's an interesting solution to the charging thing. What if you have to keep them in combat and not kill what you fight? But
Oh, okay.
that could be more interesting, like in like a much weirder situation. So it's kind of like I don't know. It sounds like stick in type of thing. Like
Yeah. There's like an OBR specific one that's like that, and I think it's a good one for that reason. You know what's real funny about that though? Is I was about
what's
to
that?
be like, well, it incentivizes the dire bats because you run three of them and charge them in, and then they don't kill anything. I'm like, A, they die. B, you spent 300 points on nothing units, so that's fine.
Yeah, that kind of is fine. Yeah, you don't care if your guys die. Like your guys, I suppose, could die, but as long as your opponent's guys don't die. Ah, that's interesting. Because then, like, because the normal thing you want to do when you charge is to you're charging to kill all your opponent's guys, right? That's why you're charging. So if you
Yeah,
remove that stuff, yeah.
that's
Or you
interesting.
could do the keep your stuff alive too. But I kind of see your point though of like if you're spending points on it, like um, then it doesn't really matter, I
Yeah,
suppose.
exactly. So, like, yeah, if you're, like, building. Yeah, if you're running units to suicide into the enemy to die
Yeah,
to get a battle tactic,
like okay.
yeah. I think Soulblight Gravelords can just do, like, three Blood Knights and then they resurrect themselves later throughout the game. And that's kind of cute.
Yeah, but if your opponent doesn't like lose their unit, like
Yeah.
they probably are like, okay, that was
Yeah.
fine.
So, have three units, right?
Yeah.
Three units, charge, and remain in combat with three different units.
At the end of turn or
With
something.
three different enemy units.
Yeah. This one's a wordy mess, but like the idea is so simple, but like wording that is like seems so difficult.
Yeah. Okay, this should be
I
fine.
still like it though. Yeah.
Yeah. So they remain in combat. So like what that does too is it stops you from wanting to spend your command points there too, which means you have them for later. Which means you're probably gonna all out defense them. So never mind.
Yeah, probably. Well,
Okay, but maybe
that's
not.
okay though. I don't know. I think that would sounds interesting. Like as soon as you go, well maybe not. Well, it's like, oh, that sounds like it's probably interesting then.
And you know what the thing is too is you might screen a screen into a screen and then they don't. They just have a wet noodle fight,
Yeah,
and
I
you
mean
don't really
maybe.
care anyway. Yeah. Or maybe like you didn't kill the thing you needed to and you're sad, but like, hey, I got points out of it now.
Yeah, right.
It
Like it
incentivizes
could
the risk.
incidentally happen too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, copy the Death Rider battle tactic from OBR. And then I remember that one, people were like, wow, that one's really good because Death Riders don't do anything in combat,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny. But, like, I would love to run that one with Blood Knights because I feel like the lack of rend is a huge issue on them.
Mhm.
Like, they are survivable, but they don't really kill a lot. And I'm like, cool. I tied up your army. Puscoil Blight Lords are really going to like that. Pigs are going to like that, I think. Except for pigs can probably kill.
Yeah. And like you don't want to charge their screens because those will probably die, right?
Yep. So you got to try to get into a juicy target. Yeah, that was an
Which is
excellent.
which also has its own risks too.
Yeah.
Oh, this one just got very interesting.
Yeah, actually. Cool. I'm going to change poor incentive structure on that because that's not true anymore.
No, it's very much not.
Yeah. What I'm going to say, though, is forcing the enemies to stay alive adds risk, intrigue, drama. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. I like that one.
Cool. We fixed it.
Yay! Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thank you, Alec, man. So, one idea I had bounced around in my little head of mine that I'm not sure I like is what if there's one that's like if you move a certain amount of inches this turn.
Move a certain amount of inches this turn. You mean
Yeah,
like across all of your units, or like you're specifically saying I'm gonna run and like do this other weird thing and
I guess either version of this, just something that
Hmm.
like you have a guy and he's like I'm really fast and he gets it. But yeah, I mean you want to run fast units anyway.
Yeah, and
But
I
I
think
just
we
like
have
the
the
yeah,
like the breakthrough one as like the like the fast unit one, right?
yeah.
Like look, they boop, they're over there.
And like I think the idea that was in my head, which I'm really thinking about it now, it sounds way too computer gamey, was like move like a total of 120 inches this turn.
God damn, I don't want to do that math.
Yeah, exactly. But like if a machine did it for you, you'd be like that would be like a fun one. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get that. And you're like, I'm gonna run 4 foxes and I'm just gonna get it because I deserve it.
Oh god, that'd be
Yeah, each
ridiculous.
one does 36. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
set, man. Yeah, no.
All
Well,
right.
that's not how we're
Yeah,
doing
let's
it.
back burner
Yeah.
that
Get that out of here.
one.
Hex raids. Yeah. Yeah, hex raids are sweet though. I like hex raids a lot, and not because that they can do the damage, but because they're very fast. And they're rather cheap.
So they'll so you
Hmm?
could like think of like, oh, if I want to run a hex wraith list, I want, like the breakthrough enemy lines and I want
Like this charge one.
the charge one and
Yeah.
oh, okay, so that one I just realized you worded it like they still have to be in combat at the end of the turn, so that means you do have to survive how you worded it.
Okay, yeah, that was just the easy way to word it. And I'm not
You know what?
convinced that's not
Yeah,
the
let's just leave
solution,
it that way.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because part of me thinks that you still want that to be true.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like a like give or take there.
Yeah, but I do like the idea of just suiciding your units into something. And you're
Yeah.
like, I gave you 400 points, my master plan. Yeah, right?
That's great. Oh, I love that.
But yeah,
That feels like a very Zinchi thing to do.
yeah. Or it's like the very Skaven, like, I'm a genius. Oh no. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should reword that to be that they could kill themselves. Because if you're like yeah, because if you're gaming it in the hopes that they will kill themselves, it's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
what did you really accomplish there?
Yeah, what did you do?
But like, if you did a risky charge to get this one, and then like it didn't work out for you, and then there's the added insult to injury that you lost your thing.
Yeah, so let's see. What's the best way to word this? Charge charge 3 different enemy units with 3 of your own units, and the charge units must survive.
Yeah. So charge 3 units into 3 enemy units.
I want it to be like 1-for-1 so that you can't do like. I suppose it does accomplish that. Yeah, no, I guess it does. Never mind. Oh no, like you could double charge one and then charge one guy into two others.
Yes. That should be
Do we
fine,
want
though.
that? You think that's fine?
I think
Okay.
that's fine.
All right. We'll keep it.
And then if it turns out to be a problem, you add more words to it.
Exactly. And also, like, if you're double charging something, chances are it's not going to live. In most cases, I would say.
Yeah.
And then you don't get the battle tactic anyway.
And this kind of punishes, like, anvil armies, too, a little bit, right?
Punishes anvil armies. Oh, because it's easier for your opponent to get a battle tactic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But we made one that's good for them, too, so...
Yeah, exactly. So I'm fine with
So,
that.
like, that's okay. Yeah. Like, maybe the next turn they turn right around and go, oh, well, I'm in combat with you and you're doing a lot of attacks. Hey, look.
And then
I
they're
made my
happy.
saves. Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or, like, yeah. And I still imagine a case, too, where there's, like, you see 60 zombies, you're like, I really need to reduce them. And
Mm-hmm.
then you get a battle tactic for reducing them instead of having to, like, straight out kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Because I'm thinking, like, if I'm doing, like, 45 damage to a unit of 60, oh, then he's just not going to Inspiring Presence.
Oh,
Or
that could
he
be.
gave up 15 zombies for nothing just to deny you 2 points. And that's not worth it.
That's interesting.
Okay, there's a lot more going on with this than we first thought.
Yeah, which is awesome, right? Like,
Yeah,
there's tons to think about. Yeah.
I want to play with that one. That one seems actually a lot of fun now. Cool. Hmm.
Okay, so how many do we have? How many good ones do we have?
Oh, I
Like
hope
ones that
all of
were
them.
like, yep, these are good.
Slay the Warlord. This one's mine. Barge through enemy lines. Issue one command. Silent observation, I think I called it. Eye for an eye. Use a hero to kill a unit until they die on terrain. Peace. By anything. So that's 6 so far. Make 15 saves in one turn. 7, 8 is the 5 damage worth of healing.
Which that one I think is kind of questionable whether we want to keep that one.
We have 11.
We have 11. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So at 11, I mean, like, do we only want 8 to encourage a little contention?
Well, if there's only 8, then that means they're all picked, and it defeats the whole purpose, right? I'm thinking we want even like 20.
Oh, see, I was thinking we wanted like good ones but less of them so that there's because I was thinking more contention was interesting because then like having less of them means you're more likely to try for your opponents as opposed to just be like, well, I can just get mine and it's okay.
Yeah. I don't think 11's enough, though, because that means that there's only 3 that aren't taken ever. Right? Oh, no, actually, not necessarily, because then they would overlap. Right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so what is the right number?
Well, that's why I was initially thinking 8, but
Yeah.
like maybe 10. I was thinking because like I think it's interesting if there is a bunch of overlap because then that like forces you to fight for them a little bit more
Okay. Yeah, so maybe
instead of
10.
having just like you've got 4 different ones than I've got. Have that be like a rarer case rather than
Yeah.
like a oh it's probably gonna happen thing.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, like, a lot of them would be cool. Just to be, like the list building aspect of it. But I think you're right that if you have too many, you just pick your own and,
Yeah.
like, hyper specialize them. I think the right number is, like, 12, though.
Okay.
10. I think 10 is something to play with.
Yeah.
So let's.
Like well, if we have 11, why don't we drop the healing one
Okay.
and go with the 10 that we've got left.
Yeah, do we want to come up with, like, a few more? And then maybe, like, drop some other ones, too, or. Because Slay
So
the
I just
Warlord in this
realized,
one mines doesn't need to be here. Yeah, it's almost 9.
yeah, holy crap.
Yeah. We were on
Yeah.
10 minutes late, so we'll stay 10 minutes late. But
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
oh, and you know what? I'll do a list at the end too. We haven't done
Okay.
one of those in a while.
Do you want to do it like as if we were playing this battle pack with these
Yes.
tactics? Yeah, let's do that. So we're not gonna have whatchamacallit to play with. We won't have
Uh,
the
General's
bounty
Handbook.
hunters.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
3 different monstrous rampages.
So the only thing I have a problem with that is you kind of want to do those anyway. Was my thought.
It's so I think the point is you can't really do it unless you have 3 monsters.
Yeah. And so like it's not stealable. Like and like bringing 3 monsters, I feel like is more of a rarity than like a given.
Yeah,
It's like kind of not stealable at that point, and most of the time.
that's the problem with it is it's not takeable.
Yeah, and you kind of want it to be takeable by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Although it does force your list building, but like maybe you wanted to do that anyway, and then it's just like, hey, look, I have it.
Yeah, and I like that it's. Yeah, I think you're right though because you said it's not worded, so it's like, oh, have a monster contest a point. You know the thing you were
Yeah.
doing. So it's
Oh,
like
it's
it's
certainly
still
better than
way
that.
better
Yeah.
worded. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a that's like a grand strategy in my mind.
Is there something we could add on to it, like make it more interesting?
My mind went to like do 3 heroic actions, but no, you can't do that.
Well, actually, my mind just went there too. But what if it was something like do 3 different heroic actions?
But you can only do one a turn.
No. I know you can only do one a turn, but like throughout the whole game. And
Oh,
so like you eventually complete it on like possibly the earliest turn 3.
oh, interesting. So like at the
Yeah.
end, yeah, at the end of the turn, if you completed 3 different heroic actions throughout the game.
Yeah, something like that. So like you don't always just use the same one, so you like and there's like a little bit of an opportunity cost where you might take one that's like not as good.
Winning the initiative turn 3 is super important now. That's the only issue I have with it.
That's true.
Because then I would have 5 chances to do 3 different ones.
Yeah, that seems really easy to do.
Yeah, and it's really, really easy to do like the extra deny on your turn, extra command point whenever, and then like when you take damage with the guy you charged and heal him.
Yeah, or just isn't the other one just like best day ever? So like
Yeah.
that one's you just do that on somebody anytime.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh look, he's in combat, best day ever.
I think that's a
Or
little
he's
too
going to
easy.
be. Yeah, it might be too easy.
So if
Okay.
honestly though, if we're doing this with heroic actions, we could probably do that with like one monster
Ooh.
doing like Electman just said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That
So
one's better.
that's a
'Cause then you
compromise of
don't
the
have to
ideas.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like that
no,
a
I
lot
like that a
more.
lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
And because like
With our powers combined, we got there to a good one.
you have to like have one hero. Yeah, you have to have one monster, find a building, and then stomp and roar, or find another monster, stomp roar.
Right.
So you're making it be in combat with 2 different things throughout the game.
Yeah, you're making it like kind
So-
of difficult to do.
And like if you only have one monster, that's way more doable than like the niche 3. And it's counterable if you because everybody has like their general monster. Well, not everybody, but most people have their monster general who could try this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But if you have more monsters, you're right. Like, man, you just said it. It incentivizes you to have more monsters.
And like that seems okay.
It seems good even, I would even say.
Yeah.
Okay. At the
Yeah, you're
end-
likely to get that one, but it could be stolen from you. So like if you're like
and there's
not
counterplay
taking
of
it
killing
as
the
like
monster.
yeah, yep.
And you have until turn like I guess the end of turn 2 if he is the fastest boy alive.
Yeah.
You could destroy a terrain piece next to you.
You could, that's true. That's interesting.
Which would be way more interesting if anybody ever remembered mystical terrain.
Yes. Yes.
I think
exactly.
I think I rolled for them one time at the GT, by the way. And it didn't
Oh,
matter
you
in that
didn't
game.
even
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Maybe that's another thing we should add to the battle pack is more interesting terrain rules.
Yeah.
So that like it's worth doing.
Yeah.
And like for ones that are like easy to remember, like that's gotta be the key there.
Yeah, I'll
It's got to
never,
be
ever,
easy enough
ever
to
remember
remember.
how damn terrain works.
Yeah, I know.
Even though I'm the player who should, because the OCR catapults can benefit the most out of it,
Yep.
which is hilarious. It's like, how do I get damage on these things? I want to auto kill a hero. Oh, this damn piece of terrain will do the trick.
Yep.
That's really funny. All right, so end of the turn. If a monster did 3 monster actions, rampages rather, throughout the game, and it alive,
You did it.
receive brownie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a real meeting of the minds there. Yeah, because like you want to have like if you have monsters too, that's a good one. That's a really good idea. Because
Yeah.
monster mash lists are definitely a thing,
Yep.
and that's a great incentive for them that also lets other people play the game.
Yep.
Perfect.
And like you kind of want to do that one. Like you kind of want to do it anyway, because you want to use your monstrous rampages, but it like forces you to like be like, well, do I want to roar again because it's probably the best play, or do I want to try to get my tactic?
Well, the thing I think makes it interesting too is it like forces your monster to do movement that isn't
Yep.
necessarily primary objective because you're like, okay, I need to get a building now. Like,
Right.
all right,
Yeah.
I need to get a monster now.
Yep.
So like, you're like, do I actually do the tactical play or do I do the? So it kind of is already what you want to do, but not always.
Now here's a question for the rest of the battle pack too. Like, do we want to do we want to make missions? Because I assume we're going to make missions for it too at some point.
Oh boy, yeah, we probably have to. Yeah,
And do we want the battle tactics to be like it's like right now I feel like it's like the general idea is you get 3 points from the main objective and 2 points from the second from like battle tactics, right?
yeah,
Per
that's what.
turn.
Yep.
That's kind of like what you're shooting for every turn.
Yes.
Do you want to make it like you get 2 points for the main objective and 2 points for the battle tactic? And
Oh, so
like
the
make
battle
it
tactics are a
more,
little bit more important.
yeah, to make the battle tactics more important in it?
Yeah,
Like
that's.
change the balance of power there a little bit?
I almost feel like you make them both 3.
Make them both 3?
Yeah, and the reason why I think that is because if we're also doing our grand strategy ideas where you score them at the end of every turn instead of just.
Oh yeah, because then that could be like a total of what? Total 5 points
Yes.
for those.
Yep. So I
Oh,
want to
so
like
like then,
decentivize the points on those a little bit more, and that could be our way of doing it, of just making the battle tactics worth a little bit more.
hmm. So the idea for grand strats, by the way, is it's a thing that you do every turn instead of just happening at the end, and you get like 1 point every turn you do it,
Yes.
or something along that. Like we'll have to like play around with. Does it only count your turn? Does it count your opponent's turn too? And like how many points
Yeah, because
they're
our
in?
our main problem is that a lot of especially the new ones, they don't really matter until the 5th turn if they matter at all.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to like spread the power of those throughout the game, and like the because it's your grand strategy. It's like what you're trying to do, and like the ludo narrative dissonance there is that you don't think about these things until the end of the game
Yeah,
when you're like, all
exactly.
right, we don't have to roll this out. We could do the long talk, right? It's
Yeah.
like that's when it comes up. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just wanted to. What kind of grand strategies would be? So one grand strategy I had for like to give examples is if you control more corners of the battlefield than your opponent, you get a point at the end of the turn. There's one for each time you kill an enemy hero, you get a point to a maximum of 5. So they're not always necessarily at the end of the turn. There's one that you pick 2 units in secret, and at the end of the game, if one's in your opponent's zone, it's 2 points, and if two are, it's 5.
Oh yeah, I like that one was kind of neat.
Yeah, like a secret messenger thing.
Yeah, so it's like ooh, which ones are they? Which one should I kill
Yeah,
during the game? And like you have to get them there, but like not be too obvious about it,
yeah, and there
or
might
else
be
your
mind
opponent's
games
just
about it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, and they have to start in your field too, so you couldn't like deep strike them.
Yeah.
That wording was there. And I think we had one more. We had one that you didn't like about like doing a monstrous rampage each turn, or each battle round.
I don't like that
Oh,
one. Why didn't I like?
destroying a building. That's what it was.
Why didn't I like that one? Was it too kind of out of the way?
I think you
Like,
said it was just way less good than the rest of them,
oh,
and it was
maybe.
just kind of technical bloat at that point, or technical debt rather.
No, I think the bloat was the better word for it. Maybe.
Okay, yeah,
I don't know.
I
I
think
know what you're
bloat.
saying
Yeah,
though.
because it's just like if it's just redundant if nobody's gonna take it because it's just weaker than the rest.
Yeah,
So you got to
yeah. Like
pay
you kind of
attention to
want like,
those. Yeah,
yeah.
but I just thought it'd be kind of fun to like pretend you're Godzilla and just stomp everything around. But yeah, if it sucks though, there's no point in it.
Yeah, we'll think about that one more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. So I'm gonna finish this little bit of ghost color on the arm here, and then we'll do some list building. What faction do you think?
Mm. Let's definitely pick one that we have, so we have some idea. Um.
I'm not gonna do an OBR one because next week we're gonna do a retrospective talk about OBR and how we
Oh
think
boy, howdy.
they're gonna fit into the new world. After I got like some games with them and did way better than I thought I was gonna, because I thought
Nice.
they were just screwed, but I think they have some play, and I want to talk about it.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then
now,
maybe the week after that, we'll continue the battle pack discussions.
yeah, I think the battle pack is gonna be a great thing too for like when we're not sure what to talk about.
Yeah.
Because there's a chance we get some Arcane Cataclysm stuff between then too. And we'll definitely do that first, right?
Yeah. Most certainly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely is. There's definitely a lot there to like think about
Yeah, I'm
and
reading that
manage,
kind
and
of
then
too.
along with your own stuff. So that like might be a downside of it too, where there's like too much going on.
Yeah.
That's also something to consider.
I think that's something playing once too will be like, I hated this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we can change
Definitely.
it from there. But yeah.
Yeah. Although what I like about it though is like, or the difference I think is between a lot of like small things to keep in mind that don't usually matter um and like a bunch of decisions that feel interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like the interesting decisions you're more likely to like think about and remember and care about, whereas like a bunch of things that are kind of just like added tax that you have to remember, like a mental load, is less interesting.
Yeah.
And like the more interesting decisions in the game are better.
Yeah. And then yeah, I think there's also a pretty good chance too. Well, not I think there is a chance, right, that it is actually just too much.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
There's
we
definitely that
definitely got to
chance.
be careful of that. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
that there's stuff that how do I say this? That they're like always in your mind on the game rather than just like, oh, was this buff on? Did I have Mystic Shield on? I don't remember. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
little different.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think if you play it, we'll see, obviously, but if you
Yeah.
play it a few times, like, it'll probably be like the kind of thing where it's like, oh, I'm remembering all of these things more, and I care about them more because it's relevant,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like, oh, this one's kind of relevant to me. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I need to pick. It'll go from, oh yeah, I gotta pick a battle tactic to, oh,
Ooh,
which
what did I
one.
get?
Yeah, it's like, ooh, what did I do? How can I play this turn to try to get one?
Yeah.
And like it influences decision making more than just like, oh, let me look at the beginning of the turn and see which one I can score.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
We'll
I'm.
see.
That's what the hope is,
Yeah, that's the idea.
and it could turn into a like, good God, there's way too much to keep track of
Yeah.
and things to do in an already complicated game.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
And there's an argument too if it's like if that's too much, we just drop Grand Strats as an idea.
You could definitely do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that. And
yeah.
this
Like
isn't
there's no
supposed to
reason.
be like like a replacement or an usurping of like GW's authority. This is just a fun thought project for a different way of doing
Well,
this, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess they have authority, but it's a game, right? We're just
Yeah.
kind of making rules. So like,
Or yeah, I'm just saying that this is like a
play if
fun
you want.
thought.
Yeah,
It's not like we
exactly.
have a problem with the game. We just want to do it a new way. That's all.
Yeah.
We just want to try something, have fun with it, and then probably like put it down and never look at it again. But we had a
Or maybe
blast with
we'll
it.
play it a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah.
Or maybe it becomes a thing. We'll see. But yeah, I think we got a pretty good start. I'm not convinced all of these are going to see it to the end, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But like, I just think what's going to happen is we're going to think of like more that are different, and we're going to like those. Because I would like to stay away from like the GW ones, like the ones that are just straight out of a GW book, if we could.
Yeah.
I just think Barge Through Enemy Lines is so good as a
Oh, I
design.
think there's some good ones. Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
reason not to take advantage of the good ones.
exactly.
All
But
right,
like, if we
so
come up with
I got
more, yeah.
I got 4 minutes, so let's get this list going.
Oh, I didn't realize you're on a clock. Okay.
Well, I am now. So
All right. Oh God. So I should have had this ready to go. Or Scroll Builder.
well, okay, we can do a little more. We can probably do like we'll say 5 minutes. Makes it way better, right?
Sure. How about Skaven?
Skaven. All right, let's do Skaven.
Yeah. Shaiish. Does it look good here? No. Hold on. Up, up. Alright, it's seeable at least.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm doing Skaven, grand strategy. Oh, we can't pick these anymore.
Nope.
Oh,
Get that
I would
shit out of here.
I would do the more table quarters a turn one because I have a lot of bodies.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna do Thankful. I want you because I still want the purple sun.
Of course.
Why can't I see endless spells? They're right there. So this is a list I've been tooling around with. So Thankful gets the sun out. And then this is the Warbringer, who's the general, who's got the extra attack command trait. And I'm going to give him the Warpstone charge. So this is a -1 to save aura. This is a -1 to save aura.
Ooh.
And then this guy has a flaming weapon, and he will beat you to within an inch of your life.
But hopefully not actually kill you because we want to get the like the charge and not kill battle tactic, right?
That's what these guys are for. Clan rat.
Okay.
Clan
Yes,
rat.
that's true.
Clan rat. Clan
Units
rat.
of 10 only. Make it easy.
Yeah, those are units of 20 because that's as small as they can be, but...
Oh, that's right. Units of... Oh, God, yeah. I forgot about that.
Mhm.
That.
And
Jeez.
then this is a 2-up bodyguard on the Vermin Lord. And so he rerolls wounds if he has 3 Skaven units within 13 of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you bring his retinue. Or what you do, actually, is you bring 2 retinues. And you pass wounds off equally between them.
Mm-hmm.
And then so him and his 2 guys are his rerolls. How many points do I have? Not a lot.
So what's this like gonna do then? Like else? Like if you without not having a lot of points.
What do you mean?
I couldn't I don't think the points actually showed how many total points it was on the
Oh,
screen.
1450?
1450. Okay.
So I have like 550.
I was thinking you were like 1,000. Okay, so it's not like okay.
No. But like
Hmm.
this is like a pretty decent hammer. There's not really anvils, which is why you have the clan rats just like spread out.
Yeah.
Be screened. But I probably want another hero. Which is probably going to be the Gracier on foot. I'm going to take Skitter Leap so I can pull him out of combat when it gets dangerous. Heroic recovery a few turns.
Do you want any weapon teams?
I think that's the play. I think that's a good idea. I'm going to give him Skaven Brew to give him an extra attack on both of his weapons. So, what if we did Warp Grinder so we can deep strike one of them? Do you like the chainsaw? Do you remember that guy? And the Doom Flayer?
Chainsaw.
It's like 65 points. And it's got 2d6 attacks at 3s minus 2 2. But then it just blows up.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
So Elegman's recommending a Warp Seer for
Got a
the
Warp
enhanced
Seer.
Master Clan ability.
Oh! No, I have a Gray Seer, not a Warp Seer. Yeah, so this will give us 3 claw steps ahead, which will give us like the better charge for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I can't take the Skaven Brew because I'm not going to have.
That's a good point, though.
I'm
The if you get the enhanced Master Clan, then if the clan rats are 10, it makes it harder for them to get um the uh the bravery one.
Yeah, that's a really good point actually, because like bravery was a problem with this list, and he makes the 10 bubble bravery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, I think that's a great idea. So what I try to do a lot with Skaven is 2 monsters and then like 4 heroes on foot, so I
Mm-hmm.
can get the double command entourage. But like, I don't know, the warp, yeah, the warp or the vermin lords are pretty decently tanky.
So do we take the battle tactic with for the monstrous rampages with this one?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 3 monsters now.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, you know what? Fuck the command entourage. We don't need it. But we're 75 points over.
Oh no.
All right. Do I need? No, I don't think I need both storm vermin. So I'm gonna make it. Does this work? No, I think I'm still over by 40 now. Okay.
Hmm.
Do we run 80 clan rats and then like get rid of one of the weapons team? Probably the warp grinder.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and then the doom player and a clan rat can get behind enemy lines or barge through enemy lines.
Yep.
But we teleport a lot. Yeah. Well, is this the perfect list? Probably not. But I think it's fun. I think we got play.
Oh, you know what's another interesting thing
Tell me.
about the battle tactic for like have everyone outside of your deployment zone and then have half in at the end of the turn?
Oh
If you
yeah.
just like stick guys in that are about to die, they're no longer on the table, so like you can get it kind of like that too.
Oh yeah, just suicide you guys. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I like that. That's what we call options.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess
Maybe not a good option, but it's an
yeah.
option.
I
Yeah.
guess you're right, Elect Man. I don't need the Grace here on foot because I already have Thankful.
Mm.
And if I'm
Okay,
not
there you go.
taking
And
the
then you can.
relics, yeah. And then he can have Skitter Leap.
There you go.
Oh, and I don't really need Death Frenzy because this guy has dreaded Death Frenzy. So that's neat. We'll give something Levitate so it can fly though. That's pretty cool. And then I'll put this in the if I can, the battalion that gives me the good boy coin for the special battle tactic that only I can get.
Oh, there you go. I don't know what that's gonna look like, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll make sure it works for this list specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So actually, I have 150 points now that we cut the Grazier.
what did you take out for the
Storm
unit of
Vermin?
storm vermin? Do you just kind of want to put those back in?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Just plop these suckers back in. And how many points do I have now? 85, okay. Or I do 100 clan rats and I put the cogs in.
Oh god, that sounds awful. But you
Yeah.
don't actually have to play this list, so whatever, right?
Maybe I will, actually.
Oh, well then that's on you.
Yeah. And I'll put the clan
Having all
rats.
those clan rats.
Yeah, I'll put the clan rats in expert conquerors and the storm vermin and bounty
Oh
hunters.
no, there's no expert conquerors in this.
You're right, but like when I
Yeah.
play it later this week.
Oh, I see, I see. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And you know, I like the 2 and 2 here. Oh, but I don't have the ringy dingy. I want the ringy dingy if I'm playing Vanquil.
A ringy dingy?
You know the boat that like moves the wizard 18?
Oh, yeah,
And then
yeah.
he also gets to move? Alright. Goodbye, Storm Vermin. Hello,
Hello.
Clarets. Get in there, boys. Endless spell. All right, is this a problem?
I mean,
I
not
do
my
have some
problem.
hammers. Yeah, this list might not do anything,
Oh man.
but I like it.
Apparently, a ringy dingy's also got the luncheon.
Launch on, or the luncheon, the Soul Seeker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yep.
All right. Well,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little partial to ringy dingy, but that's.
I think it's actually Bringy Dingy because it carries your wizard around.
Oh, bringy dingy. Oh, I like it.
Yep.
That's even better. Yep, bringy dingy.
All right. So I think that's way over for our 5 minutes, huh?
Oh yeah, no, it's okay.
But
I
yeah,
managed to buy more time.
cool. Well, we got some good progress here in Mister Bone
Well,
Harvester.
the most important part is we have to pick our 4 battle tactics now. Oh
Oh
yeah, yeah, very
shit!
nice.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
Actually, that's a really good point because that's part of the enhancements, and that's the whole point of the
yeah,
show.
yeah,
We
exactly.
kind of talked about it.
We did. So, but we
Um,
got to pick 4.
I'm gonna
So,
have the holy outside and then holy within. 3 different
holy
monsters
out.
range page.
Yep,
Yeah, because I think Skaven can teleport and run away pretty easy.
yep.
Oh, and another thing I can do with this too, actually, is have a unit in reserve or a couple units in reserve, right? And let's say I have 5 on the table, and I pop 2 in reserve. Now I have 7 on the table,
Ooh, that's
and then
interesting.
I only have to bring 2 back.
Ooh,
That's
does
cool.
that? Yeah, that is neat. Okay, okay.
Yeah, all units on the table.
And that is like that's not only just like a weird like thing you've got to do, but like you kind of build around it a little bit too. So that seems fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even think of that until
Yeah.
now. Because I'm just like thinking of how do I get these with my Skaven, and that was an idea.
Yeah.
I think I can get this one. Have 3 enemy units charge. Because I think Clan
You
Rats want to
probably can.
charge. Because they can retreat and charge anyway.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah.
making enough saves, so I'm not taking that one.
No, you're not making saves.
Yeah. Um, I could easily take this, use a hero to kill a unit, and then hold the terrain piece.
Yeah, you definitely could.
Yeah.
Who's the general here in this list?
I have 2 now, actually. So I think Thanquil's a war master.
Oh,
Yep.
so
Verminlord Warpseer, or Warbringer, and yeah, Thanquil. Yeah.
so what? There's one about what was it about the general? What did he have to do?
Oh,
What was the
kill
top?
a
Not the top
unit.
one. Just kill a unit
Yeah.
with a general? That seems real easy to do actually with
With
this,
with
right?
attacks from a general.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I still have like my main hammer as my general. So
Yeah.
so I have
So
like
maybe
6 I can do really. I have 7 I can do really easily, I think.
that's interesting actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you could only pick the ones that you actually like. But what if you do like multiple at the same time? That's another thing. Like you
Mhm.
have to pick,
You have to
and then your
pick.
opponent can take the other one. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool actually. And like I have like insurance against this one with the warp seer. Yeah, that was a good idea.
Yeah. The heal 5 one apparently clan rats regenerate D3 models each battle shock phase, according
Yes,
to
they
like man.
do.
Yeah.
Yep, they do.
Would that count as healing? I mean, probably.
I think the idea was because like we were talking
Just
about like returning slain models as part of it too.
yeah.
That's
I'm
exactly
still
the same thing.
questionable on that one because I think that
That's the
one's
one
just
we
like
don't like the most, I would say.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
fair.
maybe yeah. I think we can come up with a good idea for it, but I don't think it's there yet.
Yeah, that's going back to the bank.
Yeah,
Or we're
yeah.
coming up with something else instead.
Yeah,
Yeah. Heal 5 is not enough. Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah. But it's like what? But 5 is already like way too hard for some armies to do
That was the
ever.
problem, yeah.
Yeah,
Because we wanted
yeah.
it to be
It's
doable by everybody.
yeah. Or at least yeah. Like well, I can see it being reasonable to be like a lot easier for some armies than others. But like,
Yeah.
if it's like not possible at all, like, or if it's like this dramatically out of proportion, I think that's a problem. Although the 15 saves with one unit might be kind of out of proportion there too.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
I don't know
maybe
what the
it's kind
number
of
should
okay.
be. I do not
Yeah,
know
I
what
don't
the
know
number
either.
should be.
Yeah,
Which,
but like in theory, you could make 15 saves with like a monster that has like Mystic Shield and like all out defense and stuff like that on it,
yeah. Or
and then
Chaos
you
Warrior's
could just
probably good.
absorb like a huge amount of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that
but I
moment
think that
might
one's
be
more
12
doable.
later down the line.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it going down to 12 range or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah,
And like this one, I don't want to be like 5 for some armies, 15 for others for some reason, right?
yeah. That would be kind of weird.
Yeah. And just a mental burden for no reason.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not
yeah.
sure what
I
this
think we'll
one
put
is.
that one back in the bank. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll come up with something,
So
or we won't, and then it's just not a
mhm.
thing.
I'm gonna get the retreat one here. I'm gonna get the 3 monstrous rampages. I'm gonna do charge with 3 guys.
Yep. And I think kill someone with a general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either kill someone with the general, barge through enemy lines because I'm a teleport army, or exactly 1 command point spent in combat. Are all pretty easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I'm thinking this one because it has like the lowest opportunity cost out of them. Because I just need to get a unit in there.
Yeah, but that
And like
one's
this one, I
also
actually have
one
to
that
kill.
that
Oh,
one's
you.
the easiest one to steal too,
Oh,
which is
okay. And you're
interesting,
saying that this one
right?
mine isn't as necessarily as stealable.
I think probably,
Okay,
especially
interesting.
considering you have a good general for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely checks out.
I
All
think
right.
we're gonna have to look at that one command one too, because that one might be too much of a freebie.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might be because like you have
Yeah.
to get 1 unit in. Yeah, that's something to
Yeah,
play
it's
around
just
with.
yeah, because like if you had like a fast unit that you can just like shove in there turn one, and then like you get it like right away, it's just like, look, I spent a command point on all out defense, and like, okay, whatever.
Maybe heal 5 on just a monster or a non-battle line. Yeah.
We could also, yeah, and that could be like over the course of like many turns too, maybe. Like you, because we have some precedent for that now.
Yeah.
Of like it doesn't have to be on the same turn. Like you can keep track.
Mm-hmm.
Although that's getting into a little bit more of a mental load too,
Way too
having to
many
keep
book.
track of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we don't want too much. Um, that actually might be a problem already with the 3 different monsters rampages over the course of the game
Yeah.
because you have
Actually,
to
that's a
like
good
keep
idea.
track of them. Mm. You'd like want to have like specific tokens to like keep track of it and stuff
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah. Maybe.
once you
Maybe you're
did.
right. Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, something to think about.
Instead of using 1 command in combat, you don't use a command in the combat phase. Those are your most important ones.
Well, the point there was it wasn't a freebie on the first turn. So
Yeah.
like you have to. Well, we could word that though, like you have to be in like so many combats and you don't use a command point or something like that
Mm-hmm.
in combat. So
And your
like have
unit had
four
to have
units.
fought.
Yeah, like have 4 units in combat and don't use a command point in the combat phase or something.
Right.
That could be interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll think about that one more.
Yeah, I'll write that one down off camera because I think it's time to go now.
I think it probably is.
Yeah. But you know what? We'll be back next week and we'll do the retrospective on OBR. And I'll try to get one more game in and have a lot of thoughts about that. Look at
Yeah.
KO. You know what's gonna
Oh,
happen if I
for
look at
the
KO?
you can't do battle round one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Hmm.
Yeah, we could just do things like that too. I think it's a play around with a bunch of these and see like what the problem spots are
Mm-hmm.
if they're as they arise and like figure out how to word it in maybe a better way or
I
like
think
get
so
around
too.
it.
And then
Yeah.
ones that might just not play well. Or I might have an idea for
Yeah.
something we really want.
Yep. Exactly.
But yeah. Let's work on these every other week, probably, is what it's gonna feel like.
Yeah, yeah. I think that sounds fun. And
Perfect.
eventually we'll get to a fun battle pack, hopefully.
Yeah. and then we'll get
Oh.
TTS going, and we'll actually play some of these.
Yeah,
That
that would
might
be
be a lot of
nice.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining today, and
Yeah.
we'll talk to you next week at this time. Goodbye.
See you guys.